Welcome back. Currently on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, the key indicators, the all-share index of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is currently down 0.31%. Other key indicators are also down. These include NSE Pension, which is currently down 0.74%. NSE Premium is, however, up 0.4%. NSE Mainboard is down 0.58%. NSE Oil and Gas down 0.38%. NSE Insurance down 1.76%. NSE Industrial down 0.16%. NSE Consumer Goods down 1.030%. NSE Banking marginally up 0.9%. NSE Corporate Governance is down 0.23%. And then NSE 50 down, NSE 30 down. That is the situation report live on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, talking about those equities that are currently command extreme attentions. They include Diamond Bank PLC. Diamond Bank is actually so far so good today that I can see now the highest percentage gainer. It is currently up 8.89%. As a matter of fact, I think I've seen Diamond Bank at about 10% maximum point earlier today. I guess quite a number of people are still trying to take marginal profit in it. And AG Levantes is up 4.41%. Regency Alliance Insurance PLC is up 5%. Access Bank is currently up 4.31%, selling at 6 naira 5 kobo. Diamond Bank is selling at 1 naira 96 kobo. Now looking at those equities that are currently down, NEM Insurance PLC is down maximum 10 point. University Press is down 9.35%. Ikeja Hotel, Flour Mills, Unilever, Honeywell, USCN, Jaiz, Vitafoam. Surprisingly, I'm going to be putting that question to Aruna. I do not expect Vitafoam to be declining as yet because of the report that came in as at 31st of December. And apparently, people have made a lot of money in it. And so definitely some are currently taking profit. That is the situation report on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Intermittently within the hour, we're going to be visiting the market to see what is currently going on there. But I now take you to performances of stock markets across the African continent for the year 2018. Of about almost 20 markets that I tried as much as possible to cover relative to availability of information, I can tell only 4 markets actually made positive showing in the year 2018. All others were down. The first, Zimbabwe, and the growth was significant, 46.28%. The second for 2018 was Malawi. Malawi grew 33.66%. Incidentally, these basically are markets that do not command attention. The market that you and I probably will not be following. All right. Then in Tunisia, there was a growth of 15.75%. In Mauritius, there was a growth of 0.73% for the year 2018. Every other markets across the African continent, as much as I can lay hold on, that is the figures, the data on their markets, right? All others, aside from this 4, recorded losses. Now, I will still later come back to the markets that recorded losses, but you will see the market in Zimbabwe, for example, was the worst performing market in 2017. You recall when there was a temporary, if I could describe it that way, military takeover, when the president that has been there probably before I was born, or shortly before I was born, or shortly after I was born, rather, was ousted. And then they took over. The market actually responded in Zimbabwe, and the market came down drastically. It was the worst in Africa in the year 2017. But as soon as they concluded the elections and a new president came into power in that country, apparently some of the institutional investors that exited that economy in the wake of the temporary military takeover came back. And then what we saw was this report of 46.28% growth in their market for 2018. You see, the essence of this is that you can be in Nigeria and trade the Ghanaian market, be in Nigeria and trade in Malawi, be in Nigeria and trade any market at all. You don't restrict yourself. This is the information age. So what we are going to be doing week on week by the special grace of God on this platform is to tell you where opportunities abound on the African continent and, if possible, the global market. The only reason as to why I might not readily present the global market to you is because of the volatility of those markets. You will need a lot of technical knowledge to invest well in some of those matured markets across the globe. But for most markets in the African continent, aside from South Africa, Nigeria, and perhaps Kenya, maybe a little bit of Egypt, other markets are relatively small, and the level of deployment of technology in those markets are not as sound or solid as in the matured economies of the world. And not that alone. For example, in the Nigerian market, for example, the major issue against our market or with our market is the fact that the number or the size of the population relative to the size of investors in the Nigerian market. Most Nigerians have not heard about the market before. Some have heard about it and then they do not understand. Some came when the market was bullish, and then because they did not learn the rudiment of investing profitably well, and then they got their fingers burnt, they got disillusioned, they got discouraged, and then they got disenchanted about the market, and so they exited losing. And so many of them today don't want to hear anything as far as the stock market is concerned. When you go to tell some of them buy shares, they say it is not only shares, I will also buy table. All right, that is how bad the mind of some currently is positioned against the market. But when you talk about the global market, the matured economies of the world, you can be talking about 60-70% of the population investing in the market. All right. So what I promise to do week on week on this program is to present to you performances across the African continent and also supply you information that you can make use of investing across the African continent. When we have been able to perfect that, we can now begin to look at the global market. And so on this platform for this year 2019 is not just going to be stories or just coverage of the Nigerian market alone. We're going to expand the coast and see how we can give opportunities to you to make money. Now, in Malawi, relatively small economy. The same thing, Tunisia and in Mauritius, all right? But to a large extent, their market actually grew for 2018. You cannot be talking about gains without talking about losers. For 2018, the market that saw red, more red than all the others, is the BRVM composite. That is the market in Cote d'Ivoire, that is Ivory Coast. In the year under review, the market in Cote d'Ivoire lost 29.14%. And then, unfortunately, Kenya happens to be one of the growing market with a proportional or relatively higher number of institutional investors. When I say institutional, I mean foreign institutional investors. For 2018, the market in Kenya was down 23.81%. Unfortunately, the Nigerian market, that was one of the best in the world among the recognized stock exchanges across the globe in 2017, Nigeria was outstandingly the best, not necessarily in Africa. But if my memory will serve me right, in the African continent, even for 2017, I think the Nigerian market still ranked among the first four in 2017. But unfortunately, in 2018, the Nigerian market was down 17.81%. But again, like I said, it is still under the market in Kenya and then the market in Cote d'Ivoire. The market in Uganda, Tanzania, and Egypt all were part of those markets that lost value in the year 2018. Now, one of the markets that I'm very sure most people will want me to mention specifically is the market in Johannesburg. That is the market in South Africa. When you talk about technology, you talk about presence of foreign institutional investors, and the market that is most recognized across the globe in Africa is the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Unfortunately, in 2018, the South African market, represented by the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, was down 11.37%. So it is not only in Nigeria that there are issues, but again, in South Africa, you would agree with me that there have been issues with their economy. Within 2018, their economy actually officially became recessed, and there was a change of Britain from one government or president to the other. And as we speak now, they are still trying as much as possible to recover from recession. So you don't expect a market in such an economy to really move up, which is one of the factors that have been responsible for the previous performances of the Nigerian market. When we get there, we will definitely talk about that. You see, the market in Ghana for 2016 and 2017 actually did so well. But in 2018, it was not as if the market in Ghana did very badly, because the decline was just marginal, 0.29%. But we should, or it could have done better than it did in the previous year, 2018. And so, if you are now asking me, which market should you still focus your attentions on? Anyway, I'm a full-blooded Nigerian. I will not tell you to leave the Nigerian market and be looking at the market in Namibia or the market in Zimbabwe simply because they are better today. Last year, the market in Nigeria was a lot better than most of these markets. You still focus your attentions on the Nigerian market. When we join our efforts together and we salvage the Nigerian market together, you can now begin to look at opportunities in some other places across the globe. All right, I will go on a short break. When I return, Aruna Kibera, the man from Global View Capital, is going to be with me, and we are going to be looking at the Nigerian equity market. Now the focus, the concentration will be the local market, looking at the month-on-month movement of the indicators, and not that alone. To round off today, we are going to be looking at least 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018 of President Buhari's administration. What has the market has to say about how good or not this government has been. All right, don't change this television channel because you don't even get that. Nobody has done anything on it. What everybody does is to tell stories. But here, we show you figures. And like Aruna has always said, figures don't have emotion. We will be right back. Don't change this television channel.